All right, question number 3. This is from Joe Tucio. That's at Joe Tucio. Will the NFL ever look at the refs and possibly revamping it for the future? It's normal to miss a call once in a while, but they are now taking over games with bad penalties every week. Joe, thank you for asking this question. I want to make sure that I'm clear here. I don't blame the officials themselves completely. I think there is a fundamental problem in the way that officiating has been tweaked and changed over the last 10 to 15 years. And I think with the advent of a lot of new technology and then I'd say, rise in importance of the competition committee, what we're seeing is the competition committee, I think, is doing too much as far as points of emphasis and rules changes from year to year. I think a huge part of that is the entertainment product and how the owners have the competition committee under their thumb and wanting to improve the entertainment product on a year-to-year basis. So you see more and more rules, more and more points of emphasis every single year. Then I think when you add that, like, to the fact that you have all this new technology and you have 70 angles that you can see everything at in crystal clear high definition, you're talking about a game that was already very difficult to officiate. If you've ever been at the ground level of an NFL game, if you've ever been on the field, I have no idea how coaches or officials make heads or tails of any of it. Everything is moving so fast, it's a blur. At field level, it's very difficult to really see things as fast as they're moving. And so officials have to train themselves to look for things. They have to train themselves to see things. It's not the same as having a television screen there. So you have those guys who are already in that position where they have to decipher all this all this stuff moving at warp speed from field level, and they're training themselves to see things. And now you're giving them 15 different rules changes every year, points of emphasis every year. And so now they've got to incorporate that to how they've already trained their eyes to look at it. And now you have Big Brother up top where the cameras are watching. And you have a league that is so concerned about not having to come in on Monday and turn on the talk shows and have the officiating getting ripped from pillar to post. So, I think we've gotten to a point now where it's like the officials have a game that's already difficult to officiate. You've tangled it up with all of these different rules, changed it, and made it even more difficult to officiate. And now you have everybody getting to see it from more angles in a clearer picture than they've ever been able to see it before, which is great for all of us, but just makes it even more difficult on the officials. And I kind of think about this the same way I would look at a coach building an offense, right? So on a year-to-year basis, a coach wants to add stuff to his offense, right? So there are new ideas, new concepts you kind of work through and go through, and I like this and I don't like this, and like we're going to work on this and we're going to add this and we're going to subtract that, right? What you don't want to do is you don't want to keep adding to your offense and get to the point where it becomes too complicated for anybody to execute their jobs. I effectively think that's what's happened in the NFL with officiating, where you've made these things so complicated, it's making it so difficult on the officials. To me, it's like it was the wrong way to use the technology. The way to use the technology isn't to just keep piling stuff on. The right way to use the technology would be to take a look at how we can do everything more efficiently. To me, at this point, the technology has made things less efficient, not more efficient. So that's why I'd advocate for looking at this, officiating in general, and tearing it down to the studs and saying, what can we do to make this more efficient in general? And what can we do to make this easier on the officials, not harder on the officials? And I think a big part of the answer is putting somebody in the stadium, in the booth, I don't care how much it costs, and having that person as another member of the officiating crew who has real power as the sky judge. I think there's ways that you can make the game easier to officiate on field level. The communication, I think, between the officials on the field and officials off the field can get better. There are so many ways that they can make this better. And I think they've just generally made it worse. And part of it is PR. Part of it is they're worried about how they're perceived. Part of it is the business of it, which is the entertainment product. There's a player safety element as well. Make the officials' jobs easier, not harder. That would be, to me, the bottom line when you're looking at what you want to do with officiating. And I think to do that, you got to tear the thing down to the studs and rebuild it. And maybe it takes a couple off seasons to do it, but I think in the end, it would be worth it.